Before you start this maintenance job, invert the mower and empty the oil into a container, drain the petrol tank and turn the fuel supply off down there. Right, remove this pin and washer, and from underneath here pull the main pin out holding the clutch cable, and so I'll put these back on here so I don't lose them. Cut these cable ties holding the cables, remove those. Another one here. Okay. Remove the wheel. Just pulls off. Now remove the circlip holding this gear on. Probably going to be easier said than done. So. Okay. Lift off the gear. Washer on the top there. Watch you don't lose that little chaffy. Make sure everything comes off in the right order. When this goes back in, it's the curved side in towards the spring. Remove these two washers, voila, and this should lift off. There's another washer here and another circlip. Remove the circlip on the shaft of the transmission. Remove another washer here. On this transmission spindle, having removed all that gubbins, there's a tiny little coiled spring in there, and that pushes this little piece to engage in the cog we've just taken off. So carefully remove that spring, and surprisingly my new transmission didn't come with a spring. Carefully take this spring out of here, voila. Right, we now have to take these inner circlips off. Got it. Okay, so then you can just ease that off. That's the wheel axle, it's the transmission, that's the cutting right. Ease that off there. Right, so just knock that out gently. Like so. That's the adjuster handle for the cutting deck. Okay, to remove the drive belt, there's a hole there. Put a screwdriver in there, swing the whole transmission back. Easier said than done. nearly off. I think it's off. Down in here is a spring which makes that swing back. I've just hooked that off the end of that spring with a screwdriver which has freed it up. In the manual it says to remove this first. I was hoping to get away without having to take it off, but I'm going to have to swing that right round so it's in the way. So we're going to have to try and remove, I think they call this, what do they call this? This lever has to be disconnected, and to do that we have to remove the petrol tank first. Right, remove this. And lift here. And then we can get to that nut down there to remove that lever. If you swing it back round here, it's easier to get to the nut. That then just lifts off. I'm going to put that back in here so I don't lose it. Okay, I'm going to remove the blades first. Okay, to get this variable shutter off, you have to remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts, not these two. Take this one out. These two are longer ones, so remember where they came from. So that one and that one, they're longer bolts. Remove these flanges like so, and then I want it to remove this as a nut the other side, but as it's where it spurts out all the grass, needless to say it's rusted and corroded, so I can get access through where the grass would normally come out. I think I'll have to put some penetrating oil on that first. Here's the nut that I've got to get off. As I say, I'll put some penetrating oil on that. This is looking through from the back from where the grass box goes. Okay, there's a washer, and there's the nut. That is now freed. Okay, here's from the underneath again. Move that bolt, and then hopefully, voila. Right, that's the shutter assembly now removed. We've now got to get this scroll bit out here to give us more room to get to the transmission. We'll look at that in a minute, but I've got to do with that. But I can see there's a bolt through there. Okay, we're going to take this bolt out, hidden in there. It's a 12mm. This pops out from underneath, having undone that nut, so keep that safe. Here's another nut here. I'm hoping something's not going to drop out on the inside. Okay, that's got a sleeve over it. Right, tap that with a hammer. That then comes out, and there's a little pin which goes there, a little pin here. We'll have to remove this pin. Remove that pin out of there. Gotcha. I'll put that in there so I don't lose it. And now this should be free to remove. Ah, voila, at last. Okay, remove the clutch cable, just unhook that from there, and then just get this, pinch this in. And that comes out quite easily. Right, so from the short end of the spindle you should just be able to now ease that through, and out she comes. Pop the new one in, not forgetting to put these washers and circuit clips on. Pop a bit of grease on the spindle, both ends. Just going to go back on. That side. Just put that back on. That side. Pop the circuit back on. Okay. I'm just using that to tighten that so the groove is free. Let's do the same on the other side now. Okay, let's hook on the clutch cable. Pop that on there, and then that should just pop into there. You hook the spring on first. Hook the spring on there. And then attach the belt. It says hook a screwdriver under here. Bring it forward. And then hook the belt off. It says we can now replace the cable that comes from the transmission unit. Got the pin, right, and just pull that back a touch. Pin through there. Not forgetting to put hook that through there. Pop that in there. Pop that. Put that keeper in through there, and then hook that back on there, and you can adjust that later. Just temporarily tighten it up. Okay, we're ready to start putting the wheels back on now. Place this on here, like so. Washer on there. Next there's a spacer ring that goes on like so. Replace the coil spring in there. Put a drop of oil in there. Pop this gizmo in there. That makes contact with the inside of the gear here. Now the gear has to go on the correct way, so it should ratchet back. Okay, we've got that on the spring. Gear wheel slips on, and do it clockwise, you should hear it ratcheting. Okay, now put the spacer on there, and then one more washer, and then the circuit. Okay, pop a bit of grease on there, on the wheel. 2 more washers to go on the wheel axle, like so. Place the wheel, you should ratchet in that direction, clockwise, and then replace the nut. There you go. And obviously do the same with the other wheel. Okay, time to replace the rear scroll. This slots in like so. Put this pin back in here. This controls the shutter assembly. There's the knobs on the other side for motion and grass spots. Pop that pin back in there. And then just pop this over like so. That should then swing freely like that. I don't know whether it's necessary, but I think you never have too much grease. Now replace the shutter assembly, making sure that bolt goes through there. Like so. And replace the 3 flanges. This one goes at the back here because these long bolts go right through to the engine block. And then this one. This one here, they hold the whole shutter assembly down. That goes in there. Tighten these. Don't over tighten them. Now replace the blade assembly. So there's one more bolt to hold the scroll on, which we put in from underneath through the chute where the grass comes out. The bolt on the top here. There's a spacer as well which goes in from underneath. Poke it into the plastic there. Nut on top. One last bolt to hold the scroll on. Pop that through there. Need your wheel in the highest position. It's the sleeve that goes in there with it. And that's it. Right, pop this back on top. Like so. Now the starter rotary unit. Just pop that on there. Give it a so it locates. One of those. And pop your nuts back on. Okay. Right, replace these cable ties that we cut in the beginning to keep these cables neat. Not tighten them right up. Let's have another one down here. Just to keep the cables tight. Cut the ends off. And there you are. All you need to do is replace the oil and top up the petrol tank and hope to God that it works. I'm going to let mine stand for 24 hours as it's been in all sorts of positions, just let everything settle down in the engine, and have a go tomorrow. Good luck.